Hey guys, Cam315 back at it with another video for you guys. Back with another. Oh my goodness! Please take them off, Takane, Taka, Takamine-san. Oh my goodness! This show continues to be more degenerate than I thought it was. Now I know I missed out last week's episode. Basically, kind of the gist of last week's episode was that they were essentially they went to a university that Takamine is going to be enrolling in, and it's like it's a very prestigious school, right? And basically, it's kind of like, oh, top of her class. We later find out, like, you know, we don't really know, or Shirota doesn't exactly know what he's going to do. He basically kind of comes to the realization, like, he's more than likely just going to get a job and not go to college. And that kind of, in a weird way, I wouldn't say upsets Takamine, but kind of makes Takamine sad because it's like, well, then damn, that means I won't get to see you every day anymore. And she kind of puts something in his head, to like to go, and she gets pretty upset and kind of sad that, like he won't be like going the lengths to go to college, mostly because she wants him to go to the same college as she does. And we have it to where Shirota actually picks up on that, and he actually can like, I don't know why I'm doing this cram school stuff, but I could tell that Takamine was like not looking too excited. And we ended off the episode last week where Shirota ended up running into a girl that knew him, which leads into this episode. That was basically it. Last week's episode was pretty solid. The fact that, you know, she made him put underwears on mid-class just so she could freaking answer this question about the way about scholarships or whatever. It was absolutely crazy. This man was legitimately changing her panties in class, in a classroom setting, right, like that. But yes, but anyways, this episode we get introduced to one of the girls we saw in the opening, the blonde-haired girl, and we know that she knows Shirota, and that was back during their basically elementary school days. Now her name is Ellie. Now it's absolutely hilarious how Shirota actually remembers who Ellie is, but he doesn't remember who Takamine is. In the past when they went to elementary school. Yet, mind you, Ellie in this episode legitimately says, "Wait, you're Takamine-san. I remember you from elementary school." And I'm like, "Wait. So then that means they all went to the same elementary school. Wouldn't that mean that huh, see, and this is where it gets to the idiotic part about Shirota. Why does he not ask the question to Takamine like, "Hey, you went to the same elementary school as me and Ellie did?" Like, brother, I'm just like, wait, why is he not asking this question to Takamine about, like the elementary school stuff? Because I'm just like, wait, that should be the first thing that comes to this brother's head and everything. And we kind of know that Takamine's trying to get him to remember her from their past when they were taking care of the cat. Again, the only other reasoning why now again, maybe they just weren't in the same class, and they were just kind of from afar from each other, and it was just kind of the fact that Ellie knows Takamine and kind of interacted with her a bit, and which again makes no sense how Shirota, like, I don't understand how, like, in the past, like, how did he not get Takamine's name back then to remember? But regardless, Takamine clearly remembers or knows who Shirota was, right? This entire time, because she'd been watching him. But essentially, we find out that Ellie was kind of like childhood friends with Shirota, and they always used to play with each other, with their friends on the playground and stuff like that. And she's basically catching up with him and just, and everything. And she kind of does the whole thing of like, hey, let's go to the park and remember some fun times. And they go to the park when they were kids and everything, and how they remember having some fun. And it kind of leads into this thing where she wants to have kind of a water balloon type of, I guess, competition against each other, which was absolutely hilarious. Because what ends up happening is like, hey, she ends up like overfilling her water balloon, which pops and gets her entire, shirt soaked, right? Now, Shirota's like, okay, hold on, let me go to the convenience store and go get a towel. And she's like, it's okay, like I can dry it off. And he's like, no, I need to go get a towel. Wait. So, and then also too, it was the kind of they had a whole bet of like whoever won was go get ice cream. He's like, look, I'm gonna go get the ice cream. I'm gonna go get get the towel. Just, it's all on me and everything. So, yeah. But anyways, that's kind of the thing, right then and there. So I thought that was actually quite funny right there. So he comes back with the towel, and dog, this girl has complete confidence, bro. She legitimately like raises her shirt up to the point her boobs are essentially out, and she's wiping herself off. And Shirota's like, bro, what are you doing? Are you crazy? And she's like, well, we're friends, so what the heck matter? What the heck does that matter? Now, one, listen, if you ever have a friend who's a girl that will blatantly like just flaunt her chest up like that, and mind you, she'll show you a little boob action. I don't know what type of friend that you got right there, but clearly she must really damn near trust you, if she's showing you booby like that with no bra. Mind you, this girl was wearing no bra. Okay, right? So, she's like, look, we're friends and everything. And you're just like, bro, like, you're a girl and we're older now. So it's like, I don't need to see them. She's like, oh, okay, well, all right, fine. And this is kind of when we get into the conversation where Shirota brings up, like, because she asks a question, she's like, so where are you actually going to do the cram school stuff? And he basically is like, well, I know this person that, we went to this college and everything, and she's having high hopes of getting to this college. But when I kind of said, like, I don't know, college is my thing, right? I could tell it made, this person very much disappointed, and everything, right? And basically we find out that Shirota, the reason why he's doing the cram school is honestly for Takamine's sake, and in hopes of maybe going into the school so he can be with Takamine. Because I think, and it's funny how Shirota, out of all these moments, the one thing he picks up is the fact that he could clearly tell that, Takamine was bothered by that Takamine was bothered by his answer, saying, well, like, maybe I'll just go get a job out of school and not go to college. And it's like, and he could clearly tell, like, no, she was actually bothered by that. It's like as if she was sad. So that's the whole thing right there. Now, Ellie does kind of make the point of the fact is like, well, doesn't that mean, and basically Ellie's like, wait, do you have a girlfriend or something? And then Shirota's like, no, that's not what it is and everything. And she's like, well, clearly if you're doing it for her sake and everything, and the reason why she was disappointed, that would mean that she definitely likes you or is in love with you or something. And he's like, wait, there's no way she's in love. There's no way. Because he's thinking like, there's no way Takamine's like in love with me like that, right? And Ellie is literally the audience saying like, bro, come on, Nut Yao. It's clear this girl has a crush on you, right? And Ellie's just basically making the mention like, nah, if she's feeling down about that and she kind of wants you to probably do this, wouldn't that mean she likes you? And if anything, if you're doing this for her sake, like, wouldn't that mean you like her too? And everything, right? So that was an absolutely hilarious moment. Now, throughout the episode, you heard where Shirts like, well, thank goodness Takamine wasn't here seeing this, otherwise I'd be in trouble. And it's funny because eventually she shows him and she's like, what the hell is going on here? And she had this one dead ass look where he's like, what are you doing? And what are you talking about in regards to me? And it's implied that she saw this whole situation going on. Now, the thing is, Ellie's like, wait, oh, you're Takamine-san. I remember you from elementary school and everything. So, basically, the thing is, we find out, basically, Ellie basically makes one-to-one, kind of, thinking like, oh, this is who you were talking about, huh? Okay, right? So while that's happening, you get this funny misconception scene where basically Takamine's getting implied like, of having sex, right? And that they were going to do that, right? And basically they're like, well, hey, you can join us, right? And Takumi throughout this entire scene is thinking, like, legitimately, she's like, I did, and she's thinking, like, legitimately, like, she's thinking like Shirota wants to have a threesome, right? And to the point where she's just envisioning this of saying, like, because they're using the words of like getting wet and everything, all these sexual like innuendos, right? And she's not understanding like what their meaning is, why the water balloon competition, right? So she's over here thinking in her own mind, like, this man Shirota's trying to get frisky and trying to have a threesome or something. And legitimately, that eventually they're like, oh no, we didn't mean like that, because she gets that idea thinking because she sees freaking Ellie holding the water balloon that hasn't been blown up, right? And she thinks it's a fucking condom, bro. She thought it was a condom, and then that was like, wait, what? And then Ellie starts using the words like, yeah, let's do it, you know? And I'm just like, this is the first time we actually, well, the second time we have actually seen Takamine like legitimately probably get massively flustered. No, actually, this is the third time, because the first time was when Shirota accidentally hit her in the private areas. The second time is when they were basically taking a bath together, and when Shirota ran into the tub, she realized, like, my man is freaking hard as a rock right there, right? This is the third time we actually see her, like, absolutely, like, completely flustered. She's like, what? Like, she's lost her shit. Like, she's like, I never thought this dude would actually get this down and dirty like that. And she actually gets to the point where she's like, well, okay, if it's what you want, let's do it. And I'm just like, there's no shot this girl is absolute. So, okay, okay. So, let me get this straight. Takamine-san is actually pretty down bad for Shirota. She has a crush for Shirota so much that she's actually okay with probably losing her virginity and having sex with this dude. Which I find is absolutely hilarious. The fact, like, you know, she's willing to do all these kind of frisky and embarrassing things, but when it's actually time to maybe do something like that, she actually acts all flustered. Yet, this is the same girl that has basically paraded her body around Shirota, basically butt-ass naked. We don't see the fact that, now, we don't see after the event, you know, where maybe she goes and hides after, you know, Shirota's got, she's done talking to Shirota, she's like, I can't believe I did that in front of him, right? But we don't know, right? But this is like the third time we've seen her actually legitimately get flustered, and she was actually like, all right, if that's what you want, Shirota, I'm okay with doing that. And I'm just like, so basically, if Shirota said, I want to have sex with you, she'd be okay with that, which is funny. Anyways. Eventually they tell her, like, no, we don't mean it like that. We mean water balloons, right? Eventually Ellie tells, you know, Ellie can kind of pick up, like, okay, it's clear that Takamine likes Shirota, right? And Ellie's like, hey, Shirota, go away and go get us some drinks or something. Like, we gotta have a girl conversation right over here. And basically Ellie's like, so you like Shirota? You know, Shirota told me that, you know, he's doing the school stuff, this cram school, for your sake and everything. And he told me how you looked and felt disappointed, and that kind of gives, you know, Takamine like, oh, wow, I didn't think he'd be doing that. Now, Takamine basically says, do not tell anybody of this, right? And more than likely, she's basically saying, probably telling Ellie, like, do not tell him that I like him like that, right? Or that I'm happy about him doing cram school for my sake, right? And she's like, okay, sure. Your secret is as safe as mine. Your secret is safe with me, right? So she basically ends up leaving. Basically, Takamine's like, all right, now, here's what you're going to do. Now, she does rewind time one time, right? Because I think I forgot what Shirota said, but essentially the thing is, Takamine's going to help Shirota with cram school so he can get into the university. So yeah, but the thing, and it's funny because, you know, even the cat comes by and she's like, no, you don't distract him, he needs to study. And basically it's clear that you can tell Takamine is happy and she wants to do whatever she wants to try to get him to do good in cram school so he could get good grades and go to the same school. Now, again, like I said, or like I just don't get it. Or what like I said with the episode when he came over initially, the first time to her house initially, why she just doesn't come out and just say like, bro, I actually like you like that because we were childhood friends and I've always admired you. I don't know why she's taking this approach and everything, but she's taking this approach, so there's nothing that I can do. This is her way. She feels like teasing is the way to get to this dude's heart, but we'll see. Yeah, but, you know, also with Shirota, it's like, well, clearly, if you can tell if a girl's very disappointed that the fact that you're not going to go to the same school or the same college that she's going to, I think it's pretty much clear that, I think it's pretty much clear that she likes you and she wants to be with you. But what do I know, right? Anyways, another solid fun episode. Nice to see Ellie introduced. I think she's gonna be a fun character to be around. She doesn't give me that chaos character, but it's funny now that she kind of knows, like, oh, you know, it's funny the fact that she knows that Shirota kind of likes Takamine, and it's funny how she knows that Takamine likes Shirota. So I wonder if at some point she's gonna basically plant in the freaking idea of one of the two is like, I don't see why you just two can't start dating because it's clear that you two must like each other and everything. So yeah, and who knows, maybe Ellie's gonna be the person or the friend that, you know, lets Takamine basically wise up and say like, look man, you just can't keep messing with this dude's feelings, like you gotta tell him that you like him. So yeah, but I found that to be quite hilarious and quite funny. So yeah, but anyways, solid episode. It's gonna be interesting to see where that other pigtail girl we see in the opening gets involved. She definitely gives me, well, not tsundere vibes, but who knows, maybe we'll see. But anyways, that's basically it. But anyways, I'm gonna catch you guys in the next video. If you guys like this review of please put them on Takamine-san. Hit that subscribe button if you want to get more Takamine-san content or any other anime content I upload to the channel and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll see if I'll make some videos tomorrow with some of the animes I got to review. I am getting my root canal stuff done in the meantime personally, and that shit is not fun. Take care of your teeth, people, because root canals are not fun, and I still got to get another one done in my mouth. So fun fact, probably more than likely next week's episode reviews, when my co-host the Red Wolf does come back, we will actually be reviewing that, because I don't think we'll be going on our San Diego trip because of my mouth basically being brand new by the time and everything. So yeah, but again, that's shit that will have to happen when how I feel at that point in time. But anyways, if you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts, hit the subscribe button, and yeah, till then guys, catch you guys in the next video and see you guys later. Peace.